New on rising, the massive storm system that spawned deadly tornadoes in the Central Plains and across the South is now producing lots of rain on the East Coast. The Weather Service says more than 20 inches of rain fell over the region in 24 hours. Fox 4 Rising Sunland Surfati joins us live this morning from Pensacola. She has the very latest on the storms and a gas explosion at the county jail.
Authorities are investigating whether this gas explosion at this Pensacola jail was due to the weather. Now, the building collapsed and it killed 2 inmates and injured 150 others. The record-breaking rain that swept through this area is just the latest in this punishing 5-day storm system.
The National Weather Service says nearly 19 inches of rain fell in Alabama and Florida in just 24 hours. You can see the result. Huge chunks of roads washed away by massive flooding. One woman in Florida lost her life. Florida's governor saw firsthand the devastation.
It's just unbelievable the amount of flooding we've had, roads torn up, water clear through homes. I went to one home where the foundation was gone.
Powerful winds in Athens, Georgia pushed a tree onto a man's car, killing him. The storm moved north. Take a look at this Baltimore road that collapsed because of a landslide. It sent cars down a steep bank onto railroad tracks below. Crews in Maryland were also kept busy trying to make it across flooded roads unsuccessfully.
The water wasn't that deep at the time. The electric stopped on it.
And it's not over yet. Forecasters expect the Northeast will get up to 6 inches of rain by Friday.
This has been such a slow-moving storm, one of the main reasons why it's been so destructive, and it still has more power left. It will continue to move up and down the East Coast later today. Reporting live in Pensacola, Florida, I'm Sunland Surfati. Now back to you.
I called in by these sheriff's departments. They've had an explosion. The roof has collapsed. I have no idea how many patients we're talking, and heavy smoke.
Those are some 911 tapes you just heard. They're coming right into our newsroom in the past few minutes on that Escambia County jail. The explosion that's happened there with the gas explosion, killing 2 people, injuring more than 100. Julian Glover has been following this from the control room with more information. Julian.
Hey, good morning to you, Mayor. We have been following this one extensively. As you know, the big headline right now, 2 people now confirmed dead in the Escambia County jail explosion that's happening there. Now, like you just heard from the live report we had out of Pensacola, authorities on the ground still working to determine if it is caused, if the explosion was caused by any of that flooding that we've been seeing in the Panhandle over the course of the last few days. I do want to take you to some new sound that we're getting from Kathleen Castro. She is the public information officer for Escambia County. Listening to what she has to say.
We are now confirming 2 fatalities. They were both inmates. With 600 inmates housed inside, we do have about 100 to 150 injuries at this point in time, although that does include some of our corrections officers who are also injured.
Now, like you just heard right there, they're still working to determine if the flooding that we've been seeing in the Panhandle had anything to do with that gas explosion at the Escambia County jail. Here are the numbers that we know so far. Once again, 2 people confirmed dead. There were reportedly about 600 people inside of the jail at the time of the explosion. What happened around 11 p.m. last night. Now, we're hearing between 100 to 150 injuries. Now, like you heard from Kathleen Castro there, we're not exactly sure if they're inmates or corrections officers that were inside of the jail at the time, but we do know that the uninjured inmates that were inside of the jail have been transported to area penitentiaries. The other big story that's coming out of this, families now surrounding the Escambia County jail demanding answers from authorities as they're not exactly sure if their loved ones who could have been a corrections officer or an inmate that there at the Escambia County jail have been injured or either killed in that blast. They're still trying to figure out all of those details, Miriam, but a very hectic situation happening in Pensacola, just adding onto the madness that we've been seeing with all the flooding and heavy rainfall over the last couple of days. Miriam.
All right, they'll be working hard to determine all these answers that we have questions for, so thank you very much, Julian, for